They done it again. They have done it again. LA Galaxy, who looked like they were done in the El Trafico, and it looked like LAFC was going to wrap up 3 points, and yet again, the Galaxy came back. I mean, this is just remarkable of how El Trafico has played on for the second straight time, and in many ways, this looked kind of a very similar game as the first one. LAFC absolutely dominated this game in the first half and then in parts of the second half. But for whatever reason, LAFC just switched off. Like, for the last 15 minutes, they just completely switched off, thinking that the game is done. You know, we don't really need to go forward. And I thought they would learn their lesson from the first El Trafico of how when they decided to switch off at 3-0 and how it cost them. Now, fortunately for LAFC, this time they didn't really had to suffer a loss, and the Galaxy didn't come all the way back to win this game. But you just kind of think of how in the world does LAFC blow this for the second time, and how did they not learn their same lesson as last time? But talk about this game. Vela, of course, scoring the goal in the 7th minute, and then Gwyn with a free kick goal when nobody was actually ready to take this free kick, although it was pretty clear the referee blew the whistle, and Gwyn basically shoot that one and caught completely everybody, including David Bingham, off guard. And then from then on, it looked like LAFC could have maybe scored that third goal. And to be fair, I will say this for LAFC, they have been very unlucky tonight in terms of not scoring that third goal. I mean, the amount of time that they hit the post in this game made you think that they were playing FIFA or something like that. I mean, it was just incredible how many times they hit the post. And if they did not hit the post, I think they would have won that like 5 or 6-0 over the Galaxy. The Galaxy was just absolutely piss poor in the first half. Like, this was a Galaxy team that looked like it just gone back to where they were earlier in the season, which was a very lackluster team. And the defense just was god-awful in the first half. And I just thought there was no way the Galaxy was going to come back to it. I mean, I know that the Galaxy did come back to LAFC earlier in the season, but with the way that how they've been playing and how LAFC was just absolutely dominating this game, I thought for sure LAFC was finally going to get a win. But that, of course, did not pans out, and like I said, in the last 15 minutes, LAFC completely switched off. Alessandrini basically got one back for the Galaxy to make a grandstand finish. And then Andre Horta. Let's just say this is probably one of the worst debuts we have ever seen in MLS. I mean, in some way you could say it's the best debut because he made an absolute amazing pass. But the problem is when he tried to make that amazing through ball, he made it to the wrong team. He instead just plays it back, and it was an absolute awful back pass. And I don't get, what is it with players always want to do a back pass right in the opponent half? Like, you're about to go forward on goal. Why do you need to do a back pass all the way back to the goalkeeper? I mean, you can always look, you can, if you loses the ball, at least, and in Horta's case there, he was near the byline. I mean, if he's going to lose the ball, at least he's trying to puts it out or lose the ball out of bounds and just let the Galaxy get a throw in instead of just do that ridiculous kind of back pass. But he did, and the back pass was picked up by Ola Kamara. Kamara basically round Tyler Miller, and just like that, it was 2-2. I mean, that is something that I definitely did not expect it, and really, I just feel like how I'm still kind of asking myself, how did LAFC let this slip once again? Like, it's just absolutely incredible. And, credit to the Galaxy. I mean, I know the Galaxy were absolutely awful for the first 75 minutes, but they certainly showed their determination and showed their fight to never give up. And that is exactly what happened in this game. And, they certainly will think that this is going to be all 3 points for them, even though it's just a point because of the comeback. But for LAFC, this is going to be feeling like another loss. And I really think this actually hurts more than the 5-1 loss against Minnesota, because once again they had a chance to get a derby win against their hated rival, and yet they let it slip again. So, for LAFC, they need to regroup, and for LAFC, this is actually now 3 games without a win, which I think this is the longest they have been without a win, if I'm not mistaken. But that just kind of also tells you how good LAFC is this season. So, of course, they need to try to hopefully bounce back. And for the Galaxy, they do have a very short turnaround, despite the fact that they're definitely going to celebrate that. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Are they going to really celebrate it? Because it looked like Zlatan at the end, he actually looked really, really upset that they weren't able to get the comeback. And speaking of Zlatan, how in the world did he not equalize a couple of minutes ago from this Kamara goal? I mean, he was like, it was a good pass right to him, and he could have easily just hit it on the volley from like 11 yards out. And knowing Zlatan and knowing his experience, you would think that he would definitely do that, but no, he instead being unselfish, and he just basically passed it to Ola Kamara, and then Kamara basically ran out of Rome. And yeah, I was absolutely surprised. How did the Galaxy not equalize that, and how did Zlatan not finish that? Because if that one went in, boy, the headlines is going to go. And even if that one went in and counts this one from Kamara, the Galaxy would have won that one, and it would have been another incredible comeback for them. So, obviously it's another great El Tráfico, and this just makes me want to go to El Tráfico next year. I mean, so far these 2 El Tráfico has been absolutely insane. And also, I have to give a lot of credit to the LAFC supporters. I mean, they were singing all night, and even when they blew that 2-goal lead, they were continuing singing. I mean, the atmosphere of this game was just incredible, pretty much. But moving away from the El Tráfico and talk about other games, because there was actually 4 other games besides the El Tráfico game that just happened a couple of minutes ago. We have the controversial game, and I kind of already mentioned this twice. Once in my preview that I did earlier today, and the other was when I did a video talking about the pro referee and how it's been under a lot of scrutiny, and this is exactly why. I mean, this is clearly not a red card by Thomas Martinez. I mean, with the way that when he was going into the box and the ball was coming into him, he was trying to tap that one in, and he didn't really see the Union defender. Now, of course, he was maybe being a little bit careless of trying to do that, and maybe that, of course, should have been a foul, and maybe at harshest it should have been a yellow card, but in no way in the world that is a red card. And the fact that this is the second time in 3 days that we have controversial call that kind of changed the way this game is, because no doubt this game really changed after Houston went down to 10 men, and that the Union really took full advantage of it with Corey Burke and Peacock scoring the goal after that. But really, if this game would have been at 11v11, it would definitely probably be a little bit much different game than what it would be with the Union being the more dominant side when they were up a man in that one. But one thing I will also say is that the Dynamo, this is definitely going to be this is a really bad loss for them, because it is at home, and that the Dynamos, their home record is very good, and the home is where they're supposed to get a win, and is supposed to be the way that will really carry them to make it into the playoffs. And with this home loss, and especially against a Union team that isn't very good on the road, and a Union team that hasn't looked very good, that just makes it even more painful in terms of the loss, and this could be very damaging to their playoff hope. Although for the Union, this is certainly a a big kind of win for them. I mean, they're another team that is fighting for playoffs, and this game could potentially be one of those that could really maybe get them over the line. Although, I will say about the Union is that they cannot afford to keep dropping points at home, because it just feels like right now for the Union, as much as I said that they haven't been good at home, they have already won their last 2 row games, and it's just that the home record for the Union isn't as good as I would think that they should be if they want to make the playoffs. And if they do want to do that, they need to do better at home, and they cannot afford to lose games at home, because if they do and they start to struggle on the road once again, then this team could potentially miss the playoffs. But moving on to the next games, so the Red Bulls with a 1-0 win over DC United. The only goal in this game was BWP, who scored his 14th goal of the season. But most importantly, he has now scored his 100th goal, and he has also broke another record, and that is he become the fastest player to score 100 goals in MLS. I mean, what can you say about BWP that hasn't been said? I mean, this guy is not only a goal-scoring machine, but he's been doing it years after years after years, and that is just incredible of what he's been doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure that his record of 27 goals might be felt to Joseph Martinez this season, knowing that Martinez is just going riots in terms of the goal scoring threat. And maybe later on, when Martinez does reach 100 goals, that record might kind of get shattered. But you got to appreciate what BWP has been doing throughout these last couple of seasons. He's been easily one of the most consistent player, and I think besides Wando, he has been probably the most consistent kind of goal scoring machine kind of striker in the league that we have ever seen. But in this game, the Red Bulls, of course, that was the only goal for them. And to be fair, they probably could have scored maybe 1 or 2 more goals. Osted was very good in this game, and really, he was probably one of the main reasons why DC United was still in this game, because the Red Bulls just pretty much just dominate this game. And for DC United, well, all that talk about them potentially have a small chance of making the playoffs, yeah, that small chance probably have just gone up in flames. Because, when you lose at home and that you're supposed to be now near perfection in terms of trying to have a good home record, to maybe have a small chance of making the playoffs, that definitely does not help. And I just think DC United is probably not going to make the playoffs because of the performance that they've done. I mean, they still have a lot of home games left, but at the same time, they still have a lot of home game against very good teams. And we have seen so far that when they play against good teams, they don't do well against them. But moving on to the next match, I don't really need to really summarize a lot about this match. You already watched my match vlog of my feelings with the Quakes versus the Sounders. I mean, the only thing I will say is Ruidiaz with his first goal of MLS, and I'll tell you what, there was a lot of Peruvian fans in the crowd in that game, and when Ruidiaz scored, he actually immediately sprints to the Ultra Terrace where, the Ultras wasn't really there. I'm not quite sure why exactly, but he immediately sprinted to there, and he actually celebrated with the Peruvian fans when he scored that first goal, and that's certainly a very good moment for him. But for the Quakes, it's another loss. It's now 11 games without a win. We haven't won since May. We haven't won at home since March. When is this shit gonna end? And when is Starhay gonna get sacked? Like, that is a sackable offense in everywhere in the league. And I'm pretty sure right now, even the most half-ambitious club, even club like DC United and the Rapids that gone in this kind of run, they would have sacked their manager straight away. And yet, somehow, Jesse Fornelli is not doing that. And it's getting to a point where I'm not just going to call Starhay out. I'm actually going to call Fornelli out. Like, I really cannot believe how in the world, like, first of all, Fornelli, what he's done this season has just been absolute god-awful. And the mistake that he's keep admitting that he made this mistake. Well, yeah, you keep admitting that you make that mistake, but have you been able to fix that mistake? I don't think so. And until you do not fix that mistake, and until you keep saying you admit that you make that mistake and not use the action to fix it, then you should be called out, and you should be the next one to get out of our club, because saying is not going to do anything. Keep saying and keep apologizing the fan is not going to do anything. We are not going to accept your apologies until you actually do something. And the first thing you have to do is that you got to sack Starhay. It's clear. You have to sack Starhay, and yeah, I mean, I'm saying it every single week, and I just have to saying it because I'm tired of seeing the Quakes been playing this. This team is literally not the team that I was born to support, and this is not the team that I should ever see in my life whenever I support this Quakes team. And it's getting close to a point where I might even think about boycotting and not go to the games. And I've been going to every single game this season, and it's hard to believe there is going to be one point at the time where I am getting close to not going to a game because of how shit this display is. I mean, even the Ultras right now is kind of giving up on this team because of how bad it is. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But moving on into the next one and talk about Orlando City, who once again lose to NYCFC. Goals in this game: Tinnerholm, Morales, and really NYCFC kind of deserved this win because Orlando City was once again very sloppy in defense. And to be fair, I would say this game, both teams was kind of very sloppy in terms of giving the ball away. I mean, especially in the first half, it was just very, very sloppy. I mean, the first goal was just basically one of the Orlando City players trying to clear the ball away, and then the ball was kind of like blocked by one of the NYCFC player, and then it hits the post, and then there was Maxi Morales basically scored that one. I mean, that goal pretty much summarized how the first half of that game went, which was very, very sloppy. And eventually Tinnerholm, of course, scoring a crucial goal right before halftime. And the worst time to concede a goal besides late in the game has to be before halftime, because Orlando City could have easily head into halftime with this 1-0 deficit, and maybe they'll of course come out in the second half to try to maybe get an equalizer and stuff like that. But no, instead they conceded that goal, and that was really the dagger for them, because in the second half they did not really play very well. And I also forgot that Orlando City also had a man sent off in this game, and I'm actually gonna write it right now. Of course, it was Yoshiro Toon got sent off, I think right around the 72nd minute, when he made a nasty kind of challenge that was clearly a red card. And really, it's good for once that the referee actually made the right call and not really butchered a call that it should clearly been made correctly. And I'm pretty sure Orlando City fan will be very angry about this, because if they can get this call right, then why can they not get the call right in the last week game between the Crew and themselves? So either way, that is pretty much it for my my review for these midweek games. Of course, I already did the preview of the weekend games, so make sure you guys also check that out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.